Hey guys, Volkman86 here, and today I want to share some of my more prized CGC comics. As you can tell, this first one right here, off the bat, it's a signature series. The comic itself isn't a high price comic, but this comic is special to me because it's Stan Lee meets Doctor Strange comic, and it's signed by Stan the Man himself. This comic, for being a newer comic, this comic graded a 9.0, and I'm really sorry about the glares in this video. I try not to put any glares, but I really love the art on this book. First of all, Doctor Strange is one of my top favorite heroes, and the special thing about this book is Stan Lee actually co-wrote the book himself. As you can see, it says Stan Lee and Brian Michael stories. So I thought that's really cool to have a book with Stan Lee's name in the title and his signature. And the color is just amazing. The other cool thing is it has his picture. I think there was 4 other books with Stan Lee meets so-and-so. I'm not sure if there's a Spider-Man one. I would think there would be a Spider-Man one. That would be another cool one to own, but I'm not really sure about that. I'll actually have to look into it, and I want to try and buy the rest of these books. They're not even expensive at all. So if you guys want to buy something that's unique and not too pricey, but could still be collectible at some point, try looking for these comics. The next comic is a signature series as well, and let me put this other book back in its wrapper. This book is one of my favorite of my CGC books. It's not valuable. Well, it's valuable, but it's not that valuable, if you know what I mean. And I'll show you what it is. It's Avengers #1, the El Capitan Theater edition. These books right here, it was for the midnight screening of the Avengers movie when it came out. You could only get them at the El Capitan Theater, and they're limited to 1,500 copies. So I thought it would be awesome just to own this book in the first place because the low print run. But if you guys haven't noticed, I have 2 signatures on here. One of them is easy to spot here, John Romita Jr. And the other signature, it's harder to tell, but it's right here. It's also Stan the Man Lee. And this is really awesome because, first of all, it's one of Marvel's bigger franchises right now, the Avengers. And to have a reprint of this book with Stan's signature and John Romita Jr.'s signature. John Romita Jr. did the art for this book right here. So that's why it's really cool to have their signatures on this book. Even though it isn't the original Avengers #1, this is the next best thing right here. Because this book itself is a low print run, it's an exclusive book. And I love how they modernized the cover to this book. It's a 9.6. And I actually don't mind disclosing where I got this book from. It actually came with the certificate of authenticity. So actually, I bought this from pristinecomics.com. I bought it not too long after it was available on their website. And I actually didn't pay that much for it. The price has gone up for it now, but I'm going to tell you the price that I paid isn't the price what they're trying to sell them for. Whenever you buy comics, always haggle with the people you're trying to buy it with. A lot of times people will go down on their price because they want to get rid of the book. But the certificate says this CGC Go Label Stan Lee Signature Series book was signed in the presence of a CGC representative and guaranteed to be genuine and authentic by CGC, the most respected grading and authentication service for investment quality comics. Each signature is unique in its placement, ink, color, depth, and width of the signature. No signature is exactly the same. Each Stan Lee Signature Series book is a truly unique, one-of-a-kind original item, timeless in its place in comic history. Thank you, pristinecomics.com. So I thought it was really cool to have that come with the comic itself. I'll go ahead and put these back in. And as you can see, the next book, I even want the cover kept secret. And you'll see in a minute. It's actually a PGX book. I'll remove this. And if you're familiar with Marvel Silver Age comics, this comic is pretty old in Marvel history. And now for the big countdown. And for everyone to know, this is probably my most prized comic out of all my comics. I know I always said it's hard for me to pick favorites, but this is probably #1 of my top 5 or 3 favorites. But here we go. 3, 2, 1. Avengers #1. Original copy. It's graded PGX 6.5. Jack Kirby art, as you can tell, at his greatest. If you wanted to say that. I've shown this off to my comic book shop in my town nearby, and they actually suggested that I should take this out of its slab and have it graded by CGC. Although they think CGC might grade it, they know for sure they will grade it less probably. They say they probably will grade it a 5.5. If I'm lucky, a 6. And who knows, maybe even a 5.0. I know I'm not the greatest of a grader yet, but I want everybody to look at this book and tell me what you guys think this would regrade if I resubmitted it to CGC. The spine surprisingly doesn't look that bad. It's bad, but I've seen worse. Well, maybe except that part. Grade a little higher. And the one thing that I think might be an eyesore for this book too are these staple placements right here. So that's probably one of my biggest concerns about this book. I'm not sure exactly how those staples will affect the grade of this book. It's those low mid-grades that always get me in grading. I can grade a 9.0 plus book with pretty ease, 8.5 book, but it's when I get to the 8.0s and below, especially when we're talking about 5.5, 6.0s, 6.5, 7.0, even 7.5, I have real trouble differentiating between all those grades. And I want to know what everybody's opinion think about this book and if I should resubmit it to CGC. The one thing I know about resubmitting to CGC, I know it would help increase the value of this book if I wanted to resell it, but I don't really have any plans to resell it, which is the reason why I'm not really in a big hurry to resubmit this book to CGC. And plus, I know since this is a expensive book, this is at least worth $3,000 maybe, and I know that's gonna cost a big fee by CGC to have it grade. I think they base it off the price. If it's a $2,000 book or more, they charge a premium. I'm not sure what the prices are. I just know I go through my comic book store, but they told me that it would be. They gave me a price, but I forgot the price. But I just know it's an insane amount to have it regraded, and plus I don't have any experiences with destroying slabs, and this would be a bad book to experiment on that. So that's one reason why I haven't resubmitted it to CGC. Now here's the cool thing. I actually have these two books to compare them side by side, and well, I put this back in its cover. Let me take it out again. As you can see, they kept the same pattern for the art. They actually kept the text all the same. Which is really cool. Even in its placement, it's right around the same spot. You can see Loki, Iron Man, the Hulk, and Thor. Ant-Man is down there, and the Wasp is down there as well. She got obscured by Stanley's signature there. But the heading of the book, it's all the same, which is really awesome. They did a good job retaining the original art, which made this book cool. This right here, the Avengers, and its title, I really love the art to that. Good color and everything, and for them to kept the same heading there is really amazing. But yeah, this was 6.5, and it's all Jack Kirby art right there. And these two books paired up is why I really prize these books a lot. This right here, I think it's awesome to have it have this with this book together, just because they're both Avengers #1, and you see the history, almost 50 years of history and progress right there. And it's really awesome just to say that you own a book like that. And it's even more awesome to say that you have Stanley's signatures on them, and that you have a book with Stanley in the title that's signed by Stanley. That is why these 3 books right here are some of my favorite CGC books, and I want everybody else to share their favorite CGC books. Tell me why they're your favorites. They can be high price, low price, doesn't matter. It's all what you make it to be. Like this book, it's not a high price book, but this is special to me for the reasons that I stated. So everybody, please be sure to share your input about your favorite books, and just the general stuff that we've been talking about this whole time. So everybody, thanks for watching, and Vulcanman86 out.